Welcome to the GLAC Studios oil painting tutorial. I'm Gomati Sivasankaran. We are in the 16th class of oil painting tutorials. We have been painting along on a 40 by 40 centimeter canvas, and we started 15 classes ago just to understand basics about oil painting, the tools that we use and how do we use them and what's best and so on. So we had a nice discussion to start with in the first class, and then we moved on to understand more about the canvas and started doing the first layer. Then we moved on to do a second layer wherein we also introduced something called golden ratio to align our expectations as to where we want the subject matter to be present. So we did that, and then we moved on to the second layer where we did blocking. After the blocking, we moved on to doing the third layer, which was a little more of blocking, but also had some blending to do. The fourth layer was similar to the third layer, but then we had more of blending to do. And then the fifth layer, more of highlights and corrections and so on. So that's what is going on. We are almost there, nearly there with this painting. For those who are tuning in for the first time, this picture of the baby girl is available in the description. You can download and try this on your own along with the classes. And when you look at the picture for the first time and see why is it not the same, we started doing the portrait of this baby girl, but then there were also certain things that we wanted to do differently. I wanted to highlight certain learning experiences along the line. So I chose not to use the same interior atmosphere where the baby girl is in the picture. And then we tried to do, instead of that, an outdoor atmosphere. So certain changes were made to that. Components were changed, and through that, I tried to give you an understanding of shades, highlights, how does it differ to from indoor to outdoor atmosphere and so on. And then the distance that we wanted to show within the short framework that we have. So many things. We also went through a lot of minute techniques that really help when you do not know what to do. So we have discussed all that and deliberated on options. We discussed also the chances of painting wet on wet versus waiting for it to dry and doing step by step also. And one more thing that I want to highlight that I have been also highlighting in previous classes is that the number of layers can be many. There's no end to it. You can go on to creating hyper realistic pictures. But for this understanding of the basics, I think we covered some basics through this portrait making. So we will try to close with the layer that we are doing currently for the purpose of learning, but it should not stop you from trying more if you would like to try more and do more of the layers and try to achieve more details if you want to. With that, I guess I will get started with today's work, and you must know by now that I always start with corrections. I'm looking at the possibilities of improvement every single time that I come back to a canvas. And I think that will always be helpful along the line. I see that overall, the way we captured things are fine, but from the last corrections that we made, I think there's still scope for improvisation. So I'm going to do that, especially on the cheek area. So I have brush number 1 with me, and I'm looking at the skin tone that from previous recording. I have it still in working condition, and I don't need much. For those who are looking at it for the first time, I used yellow ochre light and a little bit of crimson and then white to blend along to get to this tonality. You can always use yellow ochre instead of yellow ochre light if you do not have it. I'm just looking at this space where the face did not come out clearly, and there is this patch kind of thing that I want to remove. Okay, so that is done here, and this curve also needed to be slightly more defined. I'm trying to do that. Once I do that, I'm not done fully, because though the angles that I wanted are there, and this is based on the feedback from the child's parent, that we can have the cheek a little more chubbier than what we see in the picture, and that's why I'm trying to do that adjustment. But then I am mindful that the other colors and this one are not sitting together well, because I just applied it recently. So I need to blend things in, which means I will have to take a bit of crimson, not too much, for the cheek here, and try to blend that in. And I would try to blend it in fully, so that it doesn't look separate. So I have done that here. And I need the same way that I used crimson here to blend. I need a little bit of white to blend there, and little bit meaning it's only this I'm taking in my finger, and that itself is more. I think maybe I will reduce that, and I'm going to go over that space. It's more, I can feel that. So I'm just blending that in there. Okay, so this adjustment I have done, and then one more adjustment that I wanted to do was relating to the toy, but before that I'm thinking let's do the face itself, the hair. I wanted one more highlighted tonality somehow. The Van Dyke brown and the black that I have used and the titanium white that I have used goes well, but I feel something is missing. Sometimes, it's hard to say what is missing, so you keep on trying combinations. I want to experiment a little bit of highlights using the yellow ochre that I have, yellow ochre light that I have, and I will blend that a little bit with the Van Dyke brown that I have. Yeah. So I want to build another color tonality for some streaks that I want to introduce in the picture. So this is, if you see, it's close to the darkest of the skin tonality, but it's not present on the hair. But I'll be mindful of where I want to use it. Yeah. Not in all places. I just want some highlights to give some realistic touch. And I'm adding a little bit of black as well. I have ivory black, and I had Van Dyke brown from the previous class. Yeah, that's still working. So I'm using it and trying to see, okay, this is the darkest. It's almost towards gray, but it's not gray. It's still on the brown area. I want to take this do slight highlights in some places, maybe not all. Yeah, some streaks, especially where I did this white, because it's showing whitey white, and I don't like that somehow. Okay, so I have done some of it here. So I'm not going in specific place, especially in the places where there are already highlights that I made. I'm just trying to go over again slightly and then trying to see if I can introduce in some more places where it could be, it could help me in showing those curves and tweaks. That's basically what I'm trying to do. And again, it's up to you. If you are convinced with the color tonality that you have created, it's fine. Then you can, rejoice because you are done. See, and this I know a little more because my hair color is also very similar. Towards the end, like I said, black hair isn't that black, and that's the reason why I want to show the brown tonalities. And I'm going to do the same. If it goes a little more, if you're trying this along with me and seeing if it goes little more brownish and you don't want it, you can always go back and apply the black or the Van Dyke brown or some darker brown if you want to. So it's not a must a to-do thing. It's just helping me show the highlights better in some way. So I'm now a little more convinced than yesterday's class. And the same goes for the eyebrows as well, because here it looks a little darker than the real tonality. So I want to lighten it up slightly. And not in all places, like I said, I'm just choosing some places where I want to show thin hair, so it's not too much dark. Okay, I go back to adjusting a little more of black wherever I wanted things to blend properly or so. Yeah. Yes, I guess I have what I wanted. When I did the eyebrows, I think it is, I'm just making sure that it's done on both the sides as well. Yes, I did that. Good. Okay, so I would say stop there and move on to doing something else on the hair as well, but it's not the hair itself, the rubber band or the clip of the baby girl. That I did not do much. I think we did slightly highlight that using another tone, but we did not do the details. At least I did not do it. I'm thinking of using the crimson itself because I think it will just pop out nicely in the blue sky. So I'm going to use the crimson to show the rubber band or the clip. I really do not know what that is, but it looks like a clip or rubber band only. Yeah, it could be anything. Just trying to do that here. I think it pops out well. But there is something in the hair. And even for that, we need to remember there is light catching. The minute object also has slight bit of light catching. Remember that logic. How does it fall? The light is falling from this direction, so that's where we are going to put in some white on top of it. I just did that here. Fair enough. Okay. I think it's a good contrast to that blue background that we have, isn't it? So it's swapping out. Fine. I wanted to do one more adjustment that is a little beneath here. Maybe I will move the canvas slightly a bit towards and the So right here, I think yesterday I wanted to do the adjustment here, so it's done. But the color combination needs to be fixed even a little more thoroughly. So I need a slight tinge of vermilion that I had taken to do the yellow, just to highlight some of the yellow parts. I didn't take too much of it, and luckily I have some of it in my palette, so I'm not taking it fresh. I'm just going to try to do that here, and I'm able to do it successfully because it's still not dry. The yellow that we did, it's still not dry, so it's helping me in the process to do the shading. Now I want to take a little more of that orange and try to give because there is no line as such here in the original picture, but I would like to give one line sort of, but not too dark. Yeah, so I'm giving it in vermilion. Then I will take the yellow again and go over it and blend it along. So I just wanted it to be highlighted a bit to show that this is on the top. This is the top, and the bottom is slightly different. I will come to the bottom of the toy as well. It has to be slightly darker than what we have right now. So I'm doing this. I'm blending it in. I think I will really appreciate blending with an earbud now. I wanted it to look slightly darker and not too much defined as such. Trying not to define anything strongly here. Okay, fair enough. And I think right now I'll use the same brush, go over this so the yellow turns slightly orangey. And then I will take maybe the yellow ochre or the black, very little, right in the tip of my brush, number one, and put a dot, and then try to darken it up to show that it's beneath. I think it's okay now, me. Yeah, Just looking at the vermilion, can it go this way as well to just put a thin line? So this is done. These were the main adjustments that I wanted to do. And then we are still not done with the grass. Like I said, we need to think of the light catching on the grass as well. So for that, what I'm thinking of is to take the yellow. I have, I think I had permanent yellow. You could have lemon yellow in your palette. So that's also good. So I'm using that. I'm not going to make it really bright. I need a bit of titanium white to blend with so it doesn't get too bright. And I'll show you where I'm going to go around. I want to create a contrast in this green, not too much. At the same time, showing the highlights. So just to test, let's do it in a corner. I'm trying to see how it looks. Okay, it is a thick color tonality that I have, so I want to thin down my brush. This usually helps me. I prefer doing it directly on the canvas to experiment. That's how we learn also, because sometimes you might have made a pretty color, but when you go along with it and actually put it up on the canvas, you figure out, oh, it's not that much of something that you would want. Yeah. So I'm trying to tweak some strokes. Okay. Tweak some strokes with this slight color tonality. You might not see much of it on the camera because it's almost, close to nothing. It's a very light yellow that I have created. So it doesn't, on the whole, change the thing immediately, but for when you are done with few more strokes, you will start seeing that there is a slight shine to it, a slight difference to the overall picture that we have made. So I'm trying to do that, and not in all places, but in some places. And the logic of the length of the grass blade that we did, I keep maintaining that, so we never miss that logic at all. Yeah. So and not in all places, like I said, I'm just putting in some strokes. Some of the places. And when I come close to the top of the grass length, where it is close to the baby girl's face, or parallel to her eye, that's where it gets into a dot shape instead of making it a long grass blade. Yeah. So I have tweaked this in some places. It's not too bright deliberately for the reason that I wanted it to be secondary. These elements are secondary to the main subject. It's supporting. They are playing the supportive role. So I'm not focusing on much on the detailing of the grass. At least that's how I work. If for example, we are doing a nature painting, then the way I would approach this grass would be very different than every single blade, how to define it and so on. That is another story. Because then the nature itself is the main subject, isn't it? So I try to do it differently then. That's also something for you to think of. When you are working on details for many hours, it doesn't necessarily mean, unless it is hyper realism, where you are just doing every single dot to dot of what is there in the picture, or what you have seen somewhere. When you are working on such layers and on portraits or some details, you can choose the level of detailing in different places with a variation. Maybe you don't want that much detail. For example, we chose to do the detailing of the toy as well to this extent. Maybe we need not choose that. We can just make small shapes to show that there is this toy. That's enough, and we need not make this toy another subject. That's one other way of doing it. Then it could save a little more time, more focus on, maybe you want to focus more on the baby girl. So that's also something possible. I chose personally to use this toy because there's a lot of character in it that I wanted to use to show different shading techniques and so on, and why, and also that it's getting folded on the canvas right beneath. So that's also a reason why I chose this. So you could choose differently. And remember, I will also do the sides. So I'm working on the sides as well right away. I'm not moving it to the camera because it's almost the same that I'm doing. If it is dots, then it's dots. If it's a blade, then it's a blade here as well. So nothing much. It's hard to make a stop when you're doing such things because you want to go over the detail, and you're going everywhere. I also tend to go everywhere. The way I control my thoughts is that, of course, there is this tendency to go everywhere and then you're confused. The moment I feel that I have done a little on all the places and not knowing where to go, then I make a stop and say, okay, what about this patch? Is it looking good? Okay, is this patch, is it looking good? So try to concentrate on some patches or some spaces, to bring back that focus to some specific location inside the canvas, because it's hard. It could be overwhelming that you might have to do dots, or lines, or strokes for many hours. This is one of the smallest paintings that I'm doing. And you can imagine, when the people work for 100 hours plus or so, it could be a humongous task to just do strokes after strokes after strokes. Okay. I'm not doing much here because this is also the place where I'm going to sign shortly. Okay. Somehow I feel like I need not have darkened this face. It seems to be an error, but it still looks pretty, so I'm leaving this. But to a certain extent, I'm trying to cover it also with the lighter tonality, yeah. Because I think when we did the darker shading, maybe I might have done a little more. Maybe we were also adjusting. I was adjusting the ear of the baby girl again and again, so it could be that I used more darker tonalities than needed on this area. I'm just fixing that here. This side is done. I have to work on the other side. I might have to pull this slightly towards me to go over the other side. Let's do this. Placed here, this way. So it's too close to the camera, but really it's the same that I'm trying to do. Okay. Let's put it on the back. So to a certain extent, you have that shiny thing right now in some places. And I'm looking at it, if I need a little more of the shiny thing, and I'm taking slightly more of white into this same spot where I put yellow. So it's getting almost whitish yellow. And I just want to leave some spots, as highlights that are a little more brighter than the other. Not too much than, as compared to what we did. So don't worry, not too much. We're nearly there. Huh? We need to think of all these things because it's a bright summer day that we are trying to portray, isn't it? So there will be some streaks of light catching definitely on the blades as well. So that's exactly why we are trying to do certain things like this here. Okay. And do not have too much of oil because you don't want it to start dripping around. If you are already in the finishing stage trying to do this, please don't get too much of oil in your canvas right now. We don't want it dripping at all. Yes, it's okay for now. Yeah. So this is about the key corrections that I wanted to make, and also with the layer 5, the adjustments that I wanted to make with the grass. I'm still not able to stop myself, but I'm going to stop. Now, yeah. say stop. It's hard to say stop, yeah. So let me tell you, today I'm signing this off in front of you, but it doesn't mean that it is complete to me. Like I always say, there's definitely always tremendous scope for improvement. And this is where we are, when we are signing off, what are we saying to ourselves before we are going to do the signature? What are we saying to ourselves? Have I learned something new in this? And if there is some scope for improvement, what exactly is that? And what will I do better in my next canvas? Yes, you can ask, can't you do that in the same canvas? Yes, of course. Then we keep on fighting with the same and never being able to finish. So trying to bring this painting to an end is always a challenge for an artist. Find a balance. Okay, I'll tell you the kind of balance I'm looking at. Okay. What did I want to do? I wanted to paint the portrait of the baby girl. Did I achieve it right? Yeah, we have the key features right. Did I speak to the person related to the subject matter and get to know a little more? Yes. Did I make adjustments to that effect wherever needed? Yes, I have. And I wanted to achieve few more things on showing the a different background. Did I get that to the extent that I wanted? Yes. Yeah. And the other subject that we had created, okay, did I give justice to that in spite of the fact that it is running below the canvas? Yes. Does it look overall complete? Do we have any pores or holes left over? You can always check with a mirror to do that. The concave convex mirror or lens to do that if you want to check. I have been looking at it for a while, so I am able to understand that it's all done. So for me, I would say, yes, this is a space to say stop for a painting like this. But like I said, you define your own scope of where you want to say stop and why. Like I mentioned earlier, hyperrealism is not what I am trying to achieve here. So that's also a reason why I said, okay, fine, I will bring this to a close today. Yeah. So if you are choosing hyperrealism, then of course, there's a more you want to do. Go ahead and do that. With this, I think I am in a position to say stop to this canvas and happily sign off. Signing off, I did explain this part of signing off. You try to have your own way of signing. Firstly, do sign. Whatever it is, do not think that, oh, I did not do a good job, I cannot sign. Whatever job we have done, it is ours. It's our hard-earned effort. I think you deserve to put your name there. So please do put your name. I did mention the psychological effect of putting the name there also, because they feel a little more responsible, and the next time that also kicks in for you to do a little better. So do sign off. And the way you sign off, try to find a genuine way that you want to sign off. Some people love just the initials. Some people write the full name and details. I found my own way of doing things, and that's exactly where you see that I have my name going to be written starting with my thumb impression here on the left hand bottom corner. I made a thumb impression which is dry fully dry. And on top of this thumb impression, I start putting the first letter of my name, first name, Gomati G. So that's how I sign. I'm going to move this a little more closer to me to enable the signing better. Yeah. Okay. I have my G starting here in my thumb impression, and I chose titanium white to sign off. I write my full name. So the G goes there on the left hand thumb impression. So even my signature has layers to it. And then I write my full name. I'll share a small story as to how I came up with signing my paintings, how to sign my paintings. I kept looking at various signatures of big artists, the masters, and it was just amazing to see so many different ways of signing or not signing. Also, there are some that don't sign properly. And then one day, I looked at Paul Delaroche's work and his signature. I don't know if you know him. He's an amazing artist, one of the masters. Do search his name and do look at the way he signs. It's amazing. And that's when I decided, okay, I'm going to sign my full name and in a certain way. And started planning on how it should look like and so on. So it didn't develop in a day. Initially, I was signing poorly, so that could be seen in my earlier pictures. And then I learned some, writing techniques that could be better. And it's easier also to write with brush number 1. So I'm trying to do that here. I like writing my last name also. The last name, my last name is actually my father's name. And that's also why I like writing the full name, because it's a tribute. Every time I write, I am reminded of my father, and like every girl, I would say, I'm proud of my father, feeling blessed that I was born to my father and my mother. So these are really nice things that come up when you sign. So have some nice memories around it, so it doesn't feel intimidating for you to sign something that you have done. And you might wonder, right now it looks very light. and it goes on top of the toy as well. Again, the choice that I made with respect to writing my name this fully to this full length, I was also clear on this idea that let it go through one of the key subjects or something important on the canvas. This kind of makes it secure for those who want to edit our picture. So nice people that want to make use of the copies or so. So you mean well always, but still see, I'm also an accountant. So I always like this point of trust is good, control is better. And that's also a reason why I try to sign in such a big way so it goes in the places. And then I will write my city and month of completion. I'm writing my name, Gomati Sivasankaran, and I'm starting to write Sendabo. That's where I live. If you're also starting to sign like me or sign with a white and wondering why it's not, reflecting, or if you want to do it better, I will shortly show you another technique that I'm going to do right away. Yeah. We are in November 2021. So just put in November NOV. Not worry, I'm not going to write the whole November NOV 21. Yes. We stop there, and this white will get a highlight. I'll show you that. So when you do sign off light color on top of made like this, it could be difficult for people to see, and that's why we chose the vermilion. So I have taken a bit of vermilion, and I'll make sure that it's not too much of it. This is going to turn pink also when I go close to this. So I will take a bit of yellow as well to have a nice vermilion color. This is what I did. What I'm going to do is that in the space defining the letter, I will start putting in the shading of the white with this color. So it starts giving you an angle or a highlight to it, to the letters. I could also choose to take, let's say, a black to paint on and sign. So that will be really prominent if you want to see it. I don't prefer to have such a deep prominence with my signature as well, because it has to be some of the colors that are in alignment with what I have painted on, preferably, or something like white. That's a little not too much saying, yeah. So I try to take the colors that I have used for the painting itself to build the signature color tone. So it's somewhere, feeling slightly connected in that manner. That's the choice. And if you're thinking it's too much to think, I don't mind. I want to sign somewhere with some color at least. Yeah, I mean it's much better than not signing anything at all. So do sign with anything that you feel comfortable with. Okay. Mm. The best part of rewriting is that you can go backwards also. So I'm doing backwards now. Okay. I don't know how much you're able to see right now with the nice natural lighting that is falling on top of it. So can you see right now how it looks? Okay, that's how it looks. Let me quickly finish off. Okay, that is fair enough. Okay, I'm trying to see how this crimson also goes, because I'm liking the texture of the signature that's coming up. See, even here I experiment. Okay, I think it looks brighter, huh? Not too bright, but it's okay. I am convinced with this. So this is going to be blended in now with a slight pinch of crimson that I have. Okay. These are all the colors that we have used, isn't it, in this painting? So and I will leave the G in the white with the same color. So it looks a little different. And it's clear that there is this thumb impression there. Eh? Yes. Yeah. Okay. All right. The name has traveled like a train a little upwards, but that is fine for me. This is my experience teaching you, trying to focus on telling you some story along while we paint on. So that is fine. So now we have signed off our painting. Congratulations. I think I have enjoyed totally this whole process of preparing something in front of camera. I have been painting for a while, but painting in front of a camera for the whole time is something that I'm also learning along. So I would say thank you for this experience, and hope you like the whole idea of painting along with me, step by step. And please do share what you have done and your comments, your thoughts, your questions, anything you feel like to me. You can reach out to me, support@glazstudio.tk. That's the email address, support at the Glaze Studio, GLAC studio.tk. So please do send your queries, your wishes, your comments, feedback, anything to the web link, the email address, and also do share your paintings. That's more important. I want to see how things have come up for you. I would say thank you very much for watching and enjoying this along with me. And stay tuned for more of such episodes or more of such classes. There is also pencil sketching tutorials that you can find in my link. If you want to try that, please do. Thank you very much for following these classes, and wish you all a nice day ahead. Thank you. Bye-bye.